We start here this hour. The African National Congress marks its 113th anniversary with celebrations in the Western Cape. The party's president, Cyril Ramaphosa, is expected to set the tone for the party for the rest of the year. The celebrations will take place at the Khayelitsha Stadium in the Cape on Saturday. The party's National Executive Committee is currently meeting, and for more on this, we're joined by NEC Member Lindiwe Zulu. Good evening, Ms. Zulu. Thank you very much for joining us on the program. We understand that the ANC is convening that meeting where the adoption of the January 8th statement will be among the items on the agenda. Just talk us through the process to adopt that statement.
Thank you very much, Mfundo, and can we please start by congratulating the projects that we happen to be in the Western Cape, so those celebrations will continue very well. But quickly, on the statement of the African National Congress January 8th, this has been happening since 1972, as history will tell everyone. We are here as the National Executive Committee to then finalize the statement so that when the President is speaking on the January 8th statement, it is a statement that has been agreed upon by the National Executive Committee, which, by the way, is a normal practice of the African National Congress. Every year when we celebrate January 8th, we make sure that we are all in sync with the statement. We speak with one voice, we work together and make sure that whatever has been outlined for the year is something that each and every member of the African National Congress follows.
And how is the mood this time around as you craft that all-important statement against the backdrop of the poor showing at the elections last year?
The mood is high. The mood has never been anything else but high when it comes to ensuring that we draft a program of action for the ANC. Recall that it's not just about the fact that we are in this space as far as the elections were concerned. This is not about the elections only. It is about the direction that the African National Congress always has to take each and every year. But however, considering the challenges that we face during the elections, obviously that issue of how did we get here and what needs to be done to correct the situation, what needs to be done to continue to strengthen the African National Congress, what needs to be done to continue and ensure that the agenda that was set up, started by the African National Congress 113 years ago, is an agenda that continues. That of ensuring that complete liberation of black people in particular, that of ensuring that the economy of South Africa also pays attention to those that were marginalized before. So this is an agenda not only about just the African National Congress, it is about the country, it is about the direction that the country has to take to make sure that ultimately the majority of people of South Africa see the promises that have always been made by the African National Congress in its journey.
And then can you just confirm that just the adoption of that statement will be the only item on the agenda, or there are other issues to discuss?
There are no other items on the agenda. The only item on the agenda is the statement. However, we also need to make sure that all the members of the National Executive Committee are aware of the broader program, because it's not just the program that will be listening to the President on the 11th, but it is also about the entire program that was laid out by the African National Congress for NEC members to go throughout the province as far as possible to remind people of the African National Congress, but also to mobilize society and communities to action to make sure that they contribute towards the well-being of the citizens, but also contribute towards government programs that are on the ground. So while we are going to be having this program, we have been on the ground in different places of the Western Cape as far as we possibly could go, not only to mobilize about January 8th, but to remind ourselves what is the African National Congress, what does it stand for, and what are the challenges that our communities continue to face. We even did the usual door-to-door in some places where we were just going to talk to the communities, and also urging communities to take responsibility as far as they possibly can with issues of violence, with issues of gender-based violence, just the issues that confront the people of the Western Cape in particular.
Now, Ms. Zulu, the build-up to the January 8th statement and the 113th anniversary of the party is now being overshadowed by the announcement of the charging of Tony Yengeni for ill discipline. Now, we spoke to one commentator a bit earlier on who holds the view that the decision to charge Mr. Yengeni now can be seen by others as the ANC displaying a level of intolerance for dissenting views. Your take on that?
Well, look, I don't want to to speak about that because I think that that's an administrative process of the African National Congress. And as for the timing, I take it that the Secretary General as well as the Working Committee must have had a conversation about it, and this is an administrative issue. It could be unfortunate if it is seen in that light, but the bottom line is that the ANC Working Committee as well as the officials, they have a responsibility to carry out some of the responsibilities that they have to do. As to whether it was the right timing or not, it's not for me to dwell into that.
And then to take you back to the engagements with communities, some are saying a week is far too short for you to meaningfully engage these communities that for the longest time have felt neglected by the African National Congress or just government even in the Western Cape. Do you believe that in just this short period you've been able to almost assure them that the ANC could possibly come to their rescue if indeed they voted for the party?
By the way, let me just put it that the African National Congress has got members of parliament whose responsibility is to consistently go out to the communities. You've also got the provincial leadership whose responsibility is to go out to the communities at all times. That we have January 8th being celebrated here is but one opportunity of the national leadership as a whole to go to the communities, but under normal circumstances. And what the ANC expects of its members is to be consistently with the people. That is why we say Amanda Asemasebeni. That means that the members of the branches are not supposed to be only available or be seen only because the national leadership is there. Provincial leadership, regional leadership, zonal leadership, these are the soldiers of the African National Congress who have to consistently be there for the communities because they live within the communities. It's one of the things that has been a bit of a weakness for the African National Congress. We focused a lot on our national leaders and all that, and we now realize that we need to pay a lot of attention to the branches who are supposed to respond to the needs of the people and be able to speak for the people both within the ANC but also in government structures. And the Western Cape, as you are aware, is a bit of a difficult situation for the ANC in terms of government and governance is concerned. However, that should not stop members of the ANC at a local level to raise those issues and stand up and work with communities.
All right, Ms. Zulu, thank you very much for your time this evening. That's ANC NEC member Lindiwe Zulu speaking to us.